Welcome back to Common Sense, everybody. I'm Wendy Bell. So when I Google the words hit piece and news, my computer gives me nearly 1 billion results. It seems the Wayback Machine is no stranger to the suck called the mainstream media. But I want to focus right now on the Washington Post, where democracy dies in darkness. It's been lights out there for a while, right? Google reminded me of the Dave Portnoy Barstool Sports hit piece when a Washington Post reporter contacted Portnoy's advertisers to try to shame them out of sponsoring one of his events. Didn't go so well. It was also Washington Post cry bully Taylor Lorenz, whose wacko liberalism led her to doxing and quite literally hunting down the anonymous woman behind the super popular libs of TikTok. That backfired too, and it's the Washington Post being called out again, this time by the head women's basketball coach at Louisiana State University. Perhaps Jeff Bezos shouldn't be scratching his head over the $100 million his newspaper lost just last year. It may just be that Americans have grown tired of the lies. Let's bring back the panel. Rich Valdez hosts Rich Valdez America at Night on Westwood One. Melanie Collette hosts Money Talk with Melanie on 98.7 The Coast, New Jersey. And Nick Craig is the host of Wilmington's Morning News on 107.9, 980 AM WAAV. All right, Rich, you're up first. LSU coach Kim Mulkey says, a Washington Post reporter, been working on this story about her for a couple years, right? Dropped a 48-hour deadline on her and LSU to respond to the story he was dropping right before the first game of the NCAA tournament. Well, Coach Mulkey used National Press Corps time to call out the paper and the bully reporter and any story he was planning to publish critical of her, her team, or her school. Listen to this.
Former players have told me that the Washington Post has contacted them and offered to let them be anonymous in a story if they'll say negative things about me. The Washington Post has called former disgruntled players to get negative quotes to include in their story.
You know, Rich, this goes beyond gotcha journalism. This is like progressive propaganda. What do you think?
Well, I say kudos to the coach because I think she got it right. She's calling them out. That's what you have to do with the media. You can't let them push you around. I think we see this pretty often with Donald Trump, right? This is something I think he's masterful at, is they come at him and he's like, oh, okay, I got you. I'll come right back. And he stays a couple of steps ahead. Coach is definitely a step ahead of them, putting them on blast. And now people know that it's a hit piece. They're coming to get her for whatever their reasons being. They're only looking for the negative side of the story. And it's what we see in the media all the time.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It makes me feel good that there is pushback, but I'm like, let's go, come on, faster. You know, and Melanie, what's fascinating here isn't that the media clearly have an agenda. It's that more people see that agenda and are cutting the cord, stopping their subscriptions, finding different sources of news. Is that one of the maybe 100 million reasons why the Washington Post is sinking, Mel?
It certainly is, and good on that coach for pushing back. And this is what you have to do with bullies. You don't let them go ahead and bully you. You push them back. As a matter of fact, when a bully pushes, you punch them in the throat, as she did. You call them out, you expose them. You don't let people get away with pushing you around. Oh, I'm going to tell that you did this. Go ahead. Tell. Matter of fact, I'll give you the number. That's how you handle somebody like that, and good for her. And this is exactly why the mainstream media is in the position that they're in, and they're going to have to learn the hard way. They're not learning the easy way. And the only language bullies understand sometimes is a punch in the nose.
Nick, you know, Coach Mulkey with the beatdown on live television, not to her women's team opponents, but to the reporter and the paper, which she incinerated. You've got to hear this. Listen.
Reporters who give a megaphone to a one-sided, embellished version of things aren't trying to tell the truth. They're trying to sell newspapers and feed the click machine. This is exactly why people don't trust journalists and the media anymore. It's these kinds of sleazy tactics and hatchet jobs that people are just tired of. I'm fed up.
Right? This is my face. Nick, what do you think? It's great.
I think my computer's on fire after that whole back and forth exchange.
You're hot.
There's this phrase called cancel culture that, of course, we're all familiar with. But Wendy, I'll call it something different. This is life ruination. I mean, that's what these folks at the Washington Post and the rest of these outlets are truly engaging in. It is life destruction and ruination for anybody and everybody that is in their path, whether it be a political opponent like Donald Trump, Dave Portnoy over at Barstool Sports, or the LSU coach. They will go to no ends to ruin this lady's life for whatever their agenda or whatever their goals are. It's way more and way worse than traditional cancel culture.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And Melanie, I want to ask you this first before I get a rebuttal from or thoughts by Rich. Planet Fitness, I know you guys have been watching this. World of Hurt, right? After bouncing a female member who was aghast to find a man dressed as a woman, nice bra, shaving in the women's locker room, right? What's wrong with that? Planet Fitness apparently didn't get Bud Light's call because after the company kicked the woman who complained out and rallied around the man pretender, Planet Fitness saw its value plummet by more than, probably close to $500,000 or more now. How are these companies not connecting the dots? Like, what do you need to see to be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that, Melanie?
$400 million worth of bigotry. Oh, well. Thank goodness that people are speaking with their feet. And as a matter of fact, as a member of Planet Fitness, I think I'm going to withdraw my subscription as well. It's ridiculous. And you would think that they would get a flippin' clue that women do not want to see male genitalia when they're in a locker room at 7 a.m. just trying to get their exercise on and stay fit. It's ridiculous and good. May they be more decimated next week.
Right. And Rich, I feel guilty that I'm dropping like male genitalia on you as the lead-in to you to wrap it up here. But this is crazy. What do you say to these companies that aren't getting it?
I think they need to wake up. And I think that's oftentimes what they see is how it works for them. But for Dana White saving Bud Light, who knows if that brand ever would have been rescued from where it ended up. And I think that the same could be true for Planet Fitness and so many others that have done this. Target, I know, took a hit and it may be bouncing back, but there's still a lot of people I know that don't go back to Target. And I think that that's ultimately what it is. And it's kind of full circle to what I said earlier with Congress. If we don't elect the right people, if we don't hold on to our values and where we do our business and how we vote and what we do in life, we're screwed. So ultimately, we have to vote in everything we do with our wallet, with our feet, and at the ballot box.
Look at this. We're screwed, and Melanie's calling for throat punches. This has been a successful panel, people, and I hope you come back. Thanks, all of you.